Hi everyone, let's make a start. Welcome to the NAV Know How seminar. We're going to be covering simple document design and page design in NAV 2009 and below. This is for the classic client, not the role-tailored client, which we're doing at 10:30 today. Okay, I will open this up for questions afterwards. I'll have a few minutes, 5 minutes or so for questions, so please save them for the end. If you can't hear me or you can't see my screen, just send through a chat message on the GoToMeeting toolbar. Okay, I think we should begin. So today we're going to be working in a Cronus database, which is just a demo database, and we're going to be working in the 2009 R2 client. Just have a look. So it might look a little bit different to your client, but the nuts and bolts are the same. You might have a menu in the center, whereas on this version there's a menu on the left hand side. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to cover with you is, ideally, any changes you make in the database should be done in a test system. If you don't have a test system, you can always contact support and we'll help you do that. If you don't want to do changes in test system, generally I'd just say make sure you back up your objects, which is really simple to do. So I'll show you how to do that now. If you open up your database as normal, and then go to Tools, Object Designer. In here are all the objects that comprise your database. There's no data or anything, but it's all the tables and forms and reports, etc. So today we're going to work on the customer list for the page, or in this version it's called the form. So we're going to talk about editing this, just doing a few simple changes, and we're also going to edit the sales order confirmation report. So what I'll do, I'll back up both of them before I do this. So an easy way to find out what the object is that we're going to edit is you can do Control F2, and that tells me it's form 22. Or we can do Designer, Tools, Designer, and that will tell us the same thing, form 22. And you can do that on reports as well. So if I go to form 22, and I'll just back that up. So File, Export, and I will just save it to my desktop. 22 form, and it's the customer list. So if we break our form, we can always re-import it. So we've always got a backup, and we can go back to what the original was, just by doing File and Import in the Object Designer. Okay, and the same applies for the report we're going to edit today. I know it's 205, but I could find out what the report is by going to print it as normal. So any report, print it, and then on here you can press Control F2. Okay, it's 10571 we're doing, so let's do that again. Tools, Designer, 10571. I think it's the GB variety. There it is. So we'll just export that as well. Order confirmation backup. Okay, so now that I've got these backed up, let's go and talk about editing and designing on forms. So we're going to look at the customer list. So we'll go into the Object Designer, Tools, Object Designer, here, and I know it's form 22. So what we can do is we can go to Design. Okay, and this is in the design mode now. So behind the scenes there might be some code, but we're not going to touch on any of that today. It's purely going to be the like the front end, the aesthetic side of it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check what basically every form has a source table against it, or most forms. And I know that it's the customer table it looks at, but an easy way to find out is to look at the properties. It's just helpful for you to know what table it looks at. It is here, view properties, or shift F4, which I normally do. And if we just go down to source table, we can see, okay, this form looks at the customer table. So on here, we can add a new field if one was missing. And it's really simple to do. So you highlight your form and you go up here and we open up the field menu, and this gives us a list of available fields that we can pick up and drop onto the form. So I think we've probably got a lot of them, but let's go and add something else. We can add it multiple times, there's no harm doing that. We'll add the blocked field, I think that would be helpful. So if you highlight the blocked field, and then you just drop, you bring your cursor over and just place it anywhere and click, and it will try and add it into where you've clicked. So now we can see the blocked fields being added to the customer list. Okay, at the moment it won't show up on the database because we haven't compiled the object. So to do that, it's really simple. We can do it from File and save it, or just Control S, I normally do, and always say yes, we're going to tick the compiled. Okay, so now we've added this blocked field. If we open up the customer list, we can now see that the block field's been added. Third column along. Okay, so what we're going to do is, at the moment, I think, okay, what we'll do, now that I've added it, I'm going to move it. I'm not happy with where it is. Okay, I'm going to move the field over now. So grab the block field, and we can just drag and drop. And so let's say I wanted to place it next to the postcode field. And if we go and save that, Control S and save. And if we relaunch that, we can now see that the block field has been added. It's been moved over to two fields. Okay. So what else do we look at? So we can also delete the fields. It's also really simple to do. So in the Object Designer, go to our form, design it, go to any field that you want to delete. I'm going to say, let's go over and have a look. That was good. Last date modified. So we'll delete that. You just press delete. Okay, and if we save that and close the form and design it, or run it even, so you can just press run, or you can go and just launch it from the menu like normal. Okay, and if we go and look for it in the available fields now, it shouldn't be there because we've deleted it. And it was last date modified. So we can see that it's not there anymore. Okay. Also, every single one of these fields on the form can be, it has a set of properties against it. These properties include sizes, fonts, bold, italic. You can hide it, so you don't have to delete it. If you're not comfortable deleting a field, you could just say visible is no, and that would mean it would be hidden. We can make it uneditable. I think some of these on customer lists by default are uneditable, but it's useful if you had, let's say on the customer card, you wanted to make sure the phone number wasn't editable, or you wanted to do certain things with fields to make sure your end user couldn't edit them, basically. You can also, let's go have a look and change the, let's go and change font size. I think let's do that. Or we'll make it bold. And we'll do yes. Okay, so now you can see the block field is bold, which may draw the eye. So this can be done for any field on the form. Also, we can change the captions at the very top of your column headings. This is useful if you're doing an export to Excel and you want to have a certain caption. So you can click on your column header and you can do properties, which is view, properties, and we can go down to caption, and we'll say we'll just change it to something else, just as an example. Now if we run that, the caption has now changed to is blocked. Okay, so that's just some basic ways to customize your forms. We can do this on support for you. If it's under 15 minutes, we'll just do it for you free of charge. But sometimes it's helpful if you just know how to do it yourself, just for quick changes like adding or deleting a field, repositioning or resizing fields. And also, if we wanted to make this bigger or smaller, we can resize it in the menu, and that will save it for all your users. Okay, and if we run that now, we can see that the field's gone and expanded now. Okay, so I'm not happy with these changes, so I'm going to revert back to my original backup object. So if we go and import that, I'll press no, and generally you may see this screen. If you just make sure you press replace all, if you do see this screen, make sure you press do replace all. Generally just press yes to the first screen. Okay, so that's gone and reverted back to my original object. So if I run this now, it will have got rid of all my changes that I made. So we can see the block field's gone, and the caption and the bold. Okay, so that's part one of the NAV Know-how today. These can be done for these changes can be done for any of the forms, whether or not it's a card view or a list view. So you can do the same for GL account list, or if you have a card like the customer card, you could design it 21, and you could say I don't want people editing certain things, or there are certain things you can do. You could hide fields if you didn't want them to be seen, just in the same way that we did with the list view. Same properties, shift view and then properties, or shift F4, or right click on properties, and we could say visible no. It's all the same properties as the list view. Okay, let's move on to reports then. So today for report design, we're going to look at the sales order confirmation. It's quite a popular one that people want to edit and change. So the simple way to find out a report, as I showed you before, is you print your report like normal. So print order confirmation. You can then design. Design it. Tools designer. There it is. I just use the shortcuts. It's Control F2, and it tells you the report ID, which is 10571. So I backed up my object. So let's go and design it. So here it is, 10571. So what we do, we go to design, and what we can see is this shows you the tables that are used for some of the tables that are used for the report. So it runs on the sales header table, sales line table. I'm not going to go into any of the code today, but there is code behind the scenes if you were interested. What we're going to look at is the sections, and that is the visual side of it, the user interface of the report. So we can view it and design it using the inbuilt nav designer. So in view and sections, this is where we design the actual look and feel of the report. So if we open that out, we can now see the general layout of the report. We can see you've got the customer address at the top and our company info, more company info for phone numbers and account numbers. If you're unsure about what certain fields are, you can hover over them. So that's the bill to customer number. So let's say we didn't want to see that. Well, we do want to see that. So let's if we just make them non-visible for the time being. So we grab each field individually and do visible. I'm going to say no. And then we'll move all these over. We'll save that. So if we go and run that and see what it looks like. You can now see that we've moved the fields over, we've hidden the shipment date, and they're actually out of line now with the company information. Okay, let's go and add a text field on there. Let's say we wanted to add some terms and conditions or a title or something like that. So if we design the report, go to view and sections, we will go and make, so this is the toolbox icon here, we can go and add in a label. So if we click that and drag our label, and then we do properties on it, or shift F4, or we could go up to view and properties. Let's have a look. Is it view properties? Yeah. And then here we can do the font size. And do font bold. Yes. And then in the caption, we'll say nav know how report design. Okay, and I would just make one more point. Generally, you would want to add multi-caption. It's really simple to do. Where it says caption ML, you just drop down and put in ENG as well. Just so if you've got different language packs on your clients, which some people do, they have US set up as their default language. We want to be able to make sure that everyone in your business has consistent captions. So as a rule of thumb, just make sure you've got ENG and ENU language codes in your report. So if we try that again, order confirmation, preview, and scroll up, we now have this big label that I've added. Okay, drop it into payment, just below the payment terms. There we go. So we've got some more text below our payment terms that we can use. Okay, so we know how to move fields around, change the properties on them, make the fonts bigger, add in a new label. You can hide fields, delete fields. Apart from that, if you want to do other things, we do offer half a day or full day training just for more complex things. That's about all we've got time for today. If you've got any questions, you can always email me at Metaphorix, support@metaphorix.co.uk. If you're interested in training, then we offer that as well. And let me know if you have any questions now, and I can go through them with you. Thank you.